All right. Welcome to a bonus episode of the Nutanix Weekly podcast. We are on location at Nutanix.next in Chicago, and I have with me a couple new faces and an old one.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
This is Harvey Green. Mr. Jirah Cox is with me as always. How are you doing today?
Doing okay, man. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you in person.
Yeah.
We don't get to do that often.
Yeah, it's great.
Especially since you know we'll bring that back up.
Still better, huh?
Also have with us Mr. Donvan Linton.
Hey everybody, nice to be with you today.
Yes, Donvan is one of our solutions architects on the XenTegra Gov team with me. Also have from the XenTegra Gov team, Miss Marina Troyano. How are you?
I'm great, Harvey. How are you?
I am doing just fine. Just fine. Is that your DJ voice?
On the ones and twos.
So we are here to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on at .next. We do have a blog article that we're going to try to stay close to.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean,
as always,
as close as usual.
Try to stay close.
So we're actually here at .next, which is like fantastic. It's our first time having one in person since 2019, I think. So it's been a little while. But it's great to see everybody, see customers, see partners. Great to be here with you guys. Fun to pull this off, our first in-person podcast recording.
Yes. And we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll do it again.
The future audience will know how it went, and they can look at what comes after this to go, interesting, fun experiment.
Right. So I am sharing the blog post, have it up. A couple of us can see it, a couple of us can. We'll just make it work. That's how we do when it's live. And I guess we'll say one more time before we get into it that this is live and we don't edit and we don't take back. So
one take.
Yeah.
One take podcast.
No pressure.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like a live event.
Talking through a few of the .next announcements this week.
Yeah, we had a few of those.
Yes. So I guess I'll start with you, Mr. Jirah, on Project Beacon. What in the world is
that? Our first time ever announcing a project, not just products. So it's pretty awesome, right? Kind of laying out like a multi-year vision for kind of what this can do for customers over time. And of course, this is like all kind of brand new as of tomorrow. So watch this space. We'll probably be able to go deeper on this in the future, right? But to do it, some probably grave injustice with a very high level summary. At a high level, and even what the stage demo covered, right, was like data portability for our customers, right? So laying out a new data platform, really platform as a service, right? Because it's something we're going to help customers manage that isn't like something they have to care and feed on their own, but helping with fundamentally that problem of like, how do I move my applications around, or I should say, we know how to move applications around, right? It's always the data that is kind of the bigger challenge there, right? Kubernetes itself built for app portability, from the ground up. But when my apps are stateful and they want to write data somewhere and store that data, and then of course retrieve it and do stuff with it, how do I move that to, right? So at a vision level, what we shared from stage today was super exciting, right? Like basically making that data governance and portability for Kubernetes users basically as easy as running a Prism cluster as we did for our VM customers 10 years ago. So that was pretty, I mean, obviously I'm biased. I'm here at the show of Nutanix, but that was pretty stinking cool even for me to hear.
I had the same reaction as they kind of went through it and showed us on the stage. I kind of looked at it and I'm like, this is a bigger deal than most people might realize, just taking a look at this. It's an expansion of, to your point, what was already done and what Nutanix has put in place to be able to do it with virtual machines. But, now you've got the ability that is coming, that is being built out to be even better than that. And outside of that, for the actual applications and being able to move from this place to that place and just not care where things are, which ultimately is what I'm always going to end up talking about is flexibility.
I mean, I saw a stat the other day, a survey taken of people that answer surveys that said, something like 85% of modern day apps get placed in the wrong environment, right? Within 12 months, they're considered to be in the wrong environment and need migration, right? Which is kind of mind boggling, right? Because we're all smart folks. We all think really deep thoughts about where should I put this application.
Yes.
And 9 times out of 10, we get that wrong. And we want to change that decision within 12 months.
Well,
and
ultimately, yes, we are very smart. Yes, we put a lot of thought into it, but we probably get 1 time out of 10 where we get to put it where we want to.
Probably, or even being more generous, probably 1 time out of 10 that the inputs to our decisions don't change.
Right.
Right. Nothing we have to react to. But so mobility is going to stay a focus for a long, long time, right? We're never going to quit focusing on helping people move and get mobility on anything, right? So of course, initially VMs, data, apps, whatever it takes, right? Because we have to kind of live in kind of a doing both space, right? We've got VMs that are going to be with us for probably all of our IT careers, right? They're not going to get killed with containers in the foreseeable. Right. But we also have to help our customers, right, have an answer to the next gen apps as well. Right. And so that ability to have IT with governance over both, like snapshots, replication, synchronization for both my VMs and my next gen apps for containers, that's stinking cool.
Yeah.
From being newer to Nutanix, I actually love the focus on the simplicity of everything. Being able to take a platform and program to that platform and not having to worry about where it actually exists or where it may exist in 5 or 10 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was with a customer this morning who, their container footprint is so large at scale, they moved from virtualized back to physical, right? So sort of that's even a different kind of way to really get committed to a platform. Absolutely. But gaining that ability to, running on Nutanix to say, now I can swap out not only the hardware platform I run on when my preferences there change, swap out my data center or swap out the cloud that it all runs on pretty seamlessly. Amazing.
Yeah. I think it's important to, and you hit on it very early, that they announced it as a project and not a product. Yes. And it's something that is evolving and will continue to evolve. And I love the fact that we get time to actually teach our customers about it.
Yeah.
Before it, hits the main stage, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So to be, of course, perfectly honest, I like the blog post that you guys are seeing on the video here. Outlines or the blog post you guys can find on our blog. The first offering of the project, right, is focusing on database migrations, right, with our NDB platform. But much more to come in this space.
Okay, absolutely. All right. I will move us to the next one because I know we'll sit and talk about that one for a long time. Nutanix Central. So Nutanix Central is basically the newest set, in my eyes, the newest set of single panes of glass.
Totally.
Being able to take a look at what you have on-prem, in the cloud, wherever you put it, to the same kind of token as what we talked about with Project Beacon. You got to have a way to manage a platform like that, manage features like that.
Yeah.
Enter Nutanix Central.
Yeah, I mean, so Nutanix as a platform, right, has always given our customers, especially in recent years, right, that kind of hybrid multi-cloud approach to where you can have your resources, on-prem in your data center, in your DR environment, in front of the colo, in this XenTegra data center, right, in public cloud, all these things, right, and they become your cloud, right? So whatever your business's cloud needs to stretch to, you can, get a footprint in all these various availability zones. What we sort of didn't have just yet was how do I see all of that at once, right? It's great to have all that availability and mobility for my apps, my VMs, and now I want to see it all in one spot, right? So it's like zooming out of that single browser tab we've had for years. Now it zooms out higher or farther away and shows you kind of global availability across all those various availability zones.
Right.
So
the next one we'll talk about Nutanix Cloud Platform. So I guess I'll let you hit on it a little bit, Jirah. We talked through Nutanix Central. We bring up Nutanix Cloud Platform. How does that differ from Nutanix Central? We're just tossing words now.
Man, so that's a great question. So, of course, I mean, as you know, so Nutanix Central is your high level, almost like a global visibility for what do I have where what have I built, and how's it all running, health checks, capacity monitoring, all that good stuff. The cloud platform, right, is what runs underneath all of that. That's what actually is going to host your virtual machines, your storage services, right, whether that's like block, NFS, SMB, S3. Those are all functions, right, of the cloud platform. But then the cool new announcements for this, and this is just a summary, right? There's probably more than that, to come, right? But the main stage headlights and the blog post headlights were first off, like the optimized database platform, right? Which is really cool, right? For customers that are running heavily licensed workloads where there's real core constraint for like we all can think of a bunch of databases where the core count really matters. But now with the ability to run both compute optimized and compute only nodes with storage only nodes, right? That really optimizes the full solution to say, I only want a little bit of compute to run my, say, licensed databases, even though I need a bunch of more nodes worth of capacity, right? So now I can have like, say, 2 compute only nodes and like maybe 4 or 6 storage only nodes. That can be one Nutanix cluster, but of course, only a portion of that requires your licensing there. The other big one though is even more fun, I think, about what we brought to the networking space. And I honestly I read the blog post a minute before we started, so I kind of got some of the cheat sheet here.
That's how we do it.
Under some of the old Nutanix network security policy governance, right, with Flow, if I had, say, a web server and a database server, I could write a web server policy to say, allow these ports, block these ports, or these subnets. I could write a database server policy to say, allow these ports, block these ports, allow these subnets. If I had a combination web and database server, I'd have to write a third policy to kind of blend those together. Now I can just stack up those existing policies and they'll inherit where they need to inherit. So that dramatically simplifies the network policy management across all those things, right? I can write a Windows server policy, a web server policy, a domain controller policy, a database server policy, and whatever I tag a VM onto, it'll inherit the right parts of those policies for security controls. So simpler management for customers, right? Faster outcomes.
Beautiful. So I'll throw out to all the listeners that the man is a professional here. He's given his answer, and about 100 people come out of 4 conference rooms while we're up on the 4th floor trying to go through and record the podcast, and he just did not break stride at all.
We'll check the recording, see how it sounds. Hope it sounds good because we're not going to redo it.
That's exactly it. So yeah, hope you guys can still hear all of his brilliance on display. We definitely have a little more ground noise than we had before, but we'll still keep going through it. So the next feature we have on here is Nutanix data services for Kubernetes. So talking through applications, moving them, containers, break that down for us. Yeah.
So we probably actually we managed to combine this one earlier under Project Beacon as well. Hey man, this is all fresh off the press, right? Hot off the press. Get some fresh releases here, right? So this is that portability for stateful apps, right, across Kubernetes environments. That really lets your Kubernetes administrators and application owners enjoy the benefits of Nutanix outcomes of snapshots or application recovery. But without having to leave the Kubernetes space. I love the way that we focused on this from the main stage of controlling all of this with Kubernetes native APIs. So it speaks Kubernetes the way that Kubernetes folks want it to speak. So not a lot to relearn there to drive those kind of application-based outcomes that people are looking for.
Great. So we've got a heading here for additional data services. The first one listed here is Nutanix multi-cloud snapshot technology, being able to snapshot across clouds and have data mobility for your snapshot. So, I think that's huge, humongous. And I'm happy to see it. I'm always happy to see flexibility. Everybody knows that at this point. I don't like being locked into anything.
No, totally. And I'll riff on it, but then I want to hear from you guys about really low-hanging fruit customer use cases, right? So that ability for a cluster now to, of course, use Nutanix snapshots like we've always had, always loved, always leveraged to solve problems for our customers, right? Around recovery from ransomware events, corruption events, accidental oopsies within the file system, right? Whatever it is, it solves problems, right? So, but also, I don't want to keep those forever, right? I don't want years of snapshots on my primary system. So the other thing it solves for, I think, is we talked about how from the main stage, how this ability to send snapshots from a cluster up to public cloud S3 storage, those can then be retrieved really, let's say, anywhere, right? So a cluster can pull those back down. I think even more useful, a cluster like say in NC2. So if you're in Azure, in AWS, that ability to then re-ingest that snapshot data is super, super awesome, right? That really is a kind of a game changer for customer DR. So anything I'm missing there from like what other problems can we go solve now for customers with that kind of technology?
Actually, what do you think it'll solve more for, DR or migration? Like which one you see lean more to?
Yes. No, that's a great point. Yeah. I think it actually probably plays heavily into both. Migration could be huge, right? Especially like if we get when customers are I shouldn't say more reasonable, when they have longer migration timelines. If we can get like a weekend, not like a zero downtime, I don't want to lose a single ping kind of cross data center migration. You can do that. It just takes more planning and maybe more effort and maybe more resources. Right. But if it was like I want to shut down business on Friday and then start business on Monday in some other data center, that kind of migration capability could be absolutely huge. Very, very empowering more customer freedom, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The last one listed here is Nutanix objects integrating with Snowflake. I guess before we even discuss that, what's Snowflake? Let's see who knows what that actually is, what that technology does.
I gotta take a quick drink.
So data lake, it allows you to have storage and not having to worry about where that storage lives.
All right. So Nutanix Objects actually now integrates with Snowflake, and now that we had that brief summary by Donvan, how does that change the game?
Yeah. So that ability to so now as you've created more data ponds on Nutanix object storage, on Nutanix S3 storage, right, with our object storage, the ability to say, leave them in place, use them where they are, but plumb them up to Snowflake and then make that data mineable, searchable, usable, right? Like, data has to work for your business, right? So how are you monetizing that data? That makes it super, super easy for our joint Nutanix and Snowflake customers.
Yeah, so we get from just saying, hold my data, store my data, keep my data safe. And now we move into help me learn from my data.
Yeah. Now it's us and Snowflake saying, use your data.
Right. Yes. Use your data. That's a better way to put it.
Yeah. It's another way to put it. Yeah.
Yes. It's like you have it, you have these things that you could do with it. You're not doing anything with it, but holding on to it. Like, let's make something of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. I guess before we part places here, what was the biggest thing to you, Jirah, about the conference as a whole? It doesn't have to be technical. It can be whatever.
Honestly, it's going to sound sappy, but just get to see folks again, right? Get to see customers, spend 2 whole days just talking about nothing but Nutanix and solving problems. Honestly, like, I'm pretty jazzed.
Yeah. It's only sappy if you cry, so wipe that tear away.
There we go. It's audio only for a reason.
Donvan, how about you? What was the biggest takeaway for you, technical or not?
Again, I'm gonna go back to the solution solving, being able to solve problems and trying to make it simple for Nutanix customers. That was the biggest takeaway for me. Is really seeing and hearing that from the leadership of how they want to move forward and how they want to solve those problems.
Marina, I should have started with you since I'm a gentleman. It should have been ladies first, but I'll at least let you go before me.
Definitely not technical right now. I just think it's very beautiful how many people want to come together and learn as much as possible and, help contribute to the world in such a beautiful and needed way. It's definitely been a great experience overall, and we could get into the nitty-gritty, and I'm sure we will in the next couple of days, but I think overall just the idea of, what we're doing and where we're going is the takeaway in itself.
Yeah, I like that. I guess for me, it was being able to see the vision, right? To go from, I guess we kind of even talked about it on the last one, right? We're going from, holding everything, keeping it safe, backups, DR, like all of those operational things to now moving into now we've got the operations taken care of for you. Let's move into the next phase of what your data does for you, where it lives, flexibility for it to be anywhere and still have a single pane of glass for your platform management. It's just, I feel like we're taking a step up, right? From the ground level now to the forest level. And now we're actually looking at everything and not just a few things.
I think once we really learn to jointly excel together, right? Nutanix, partners, customers, all together, excel at mobility, we're not going to stop moving, right? That lets customers keep moving forever, right? Around how do I keep on optimizing, right? For move to a better colo, move to a different cloud with different, integrations or, better economics or whatever, right? You're not going to move once, you're going to keep on moving forever.
Right.
And keeping that simple and awesome for customers is pretty powerful.
Absolutely. I appreciate the time that you guys spent with us today to kind of go through this live and have lots of live little moments here in it. So we don't get to hear it while we do it. We just get to hear it afterwards, or hear everybody who comes to us afterwards and says whatever. So good feedback, bad feedback. We always want it. Definitely happy you guys could come and share with us today. So we appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for the time.